Rev up your engines!
Curtis Wengrood said, "Hey, Scotty, what is the strangest homemade repair you had to correct?" Thanks. Well, I have to say, the strangest was somebody did a brake job on their car and they put them on backwards. And of course, when they put them on, they stopped because they're the same shape. But instead of having the brake pad material squeezing the rotors, it was the metal backing squeezing it. And of course, I had to replace the rotors too because the metal on metal ate it all up. I do have to say that was probably the strangest thing. Now, it can be done, you know. You can put them on backwards because they're the same shape. It's just that one side has brake pads and the other has solid metal. So you never want to do something like that on a vehicle you're working yourself. Westy Testy says, should I get used or completely new tires? I need all new 4 tires. I advise buying new tires. Now, here's the thing. If you're talking about used tires, why did the person get rid of the tires in the first place? Generally because they're old and cracked and they're worn out. Now, if you live in an area where there's a bunch of rich people and a bunch of crooked mechanics, hey, maybe you can get good used tires. I had a customer and she did CPA work. And one of her clients was this rich guy, was a millionaire. And he had a Volvo. And he took it into these mechanics that were absolute crooks. This Volvo had 18,000 miles on it, and they already sold him 3 sets of brake pads. There's no way you can wear them out that fast. And 3 sets of tires. Well, now, if you could get the used tires from that guy, I'm sure they were in really good shape. Go right ahead, you know? But normally, people get rid of tires because they got problems, they're cracked, they're worn out, and you don't want to buy used tires. But, I mean, if you can find a crooked mechanic that takes perfectly good tires off people's cars, sells them new ones, and he sells those, go right ahead. Mr. Anaconda says, which car's more reliable out of a Grand Am, the 3400 or the G6 with the 3500? The 3400 was a more reliable engine. The 3400 really was one of the most reliable engines that GM made. They're pretty good engines, you know. I mean, the rest of the car I'm not in love with. Their automatic transmissions were garbage. As they age, their electrical systems tend to go haywire. But out of those, the 3400 was actually a pretty good engine. It's just that the rest of the vehicles weren't all that hot. And then, you know, they don't make them. They haven't made Pontiac for years now. GM decided to stop making them to cut costs. Fresh Fish says, Scotty, I'm thinking about buying a 2002 BMW M3 with 60,000 kilometers. What do you think? Okay, well, the M series were a special series of cars, and they are fun to drive. And what? 60,000 kilometers is like 32,000 miles. That's not much mileage. If you don't have to pay too much, now those are collector's items, so you're going to have to pay a certain amount of money. But if you like that type of car and you're not going to put heavy mileage on it, say it's going to be your weekend toy, they can be a very fun car. I got a customer with one. He loves the car. He's nuts about it. So, you know, his girlfriend drives something that I think it's a Toyota Highlander, and they use that when they travel around all the place, and they use the M3 for toy. And they can be fun, you know. Just don't pay really, really high dollar for it. You're going to have to pay something, though, because they are collector's items. Alexander Durker says, Scotty, my wife's '03 Corolla has multiple misfire codes and it's spitting liquid out of the exhaust. Never seen this before. What could it be? Well, sadly, that's often a blowing head gasket. If you get liquid coming out of the back, it doesn't run right. It's almost always a blown head gasket. Now, you can easily check it yourself. I've got a video how to tell if your head gasket is blown. And you can get the tester kit from Amazon for like 30 bucks and test it yourself. And if that's the case, you might think about getting rid of the vehicle because it's going to cost a lot of money to tear that engine apart and put it together. And very few guys these days really know how to rebuild engines. When I was younger, it was a lot easier. They were simple engines. You could take them apart and put them together in 4 or 5 hours, but the new ones are very complex. Do that test first. The Andy Tran episode says, Scotty, is there any cheap car mods for an interior to make it a little more unique? Sure. You can get those cool lighting kits, LED lighting kits with remotes that you can stick all inside that makes it look unique, the different colors and everything that goes on. Or you can go and get colored LED bulbs and just put different bulbs in where you want. And there are some very fancy mat systems. I put one in my wife's Lexus that it's got a nice leather underlayment, and then the mats snap on inside there, and it really snazzes up a worn down rug system because it covers everything up. There's some stuff you can do without spending a fortune that you can easily do yourself. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.